Can I invite the leader of the Labour group to speak?
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. I rise with some trepidation to make a speech that I never, ever thought I would be making in this chamber. The sudden passing of our Mayor, Cllr Cynthia Barker, has left this borough shocked and shaken. Such was her impact as an individual. She may have only served as Mayor for a few months before she was so tragically taken from us. However, Cynthia was one of that rare breed of politicians in local government who had also become a much-loved figure in her own right. We will hear much this evening about Cynthia's indefatigable efforts on behalf of countless local groups and charities, most notably the Rotary Club, where she served with distinction in an array of leadership roles. We'll also hear about her work with and support for the 60+ Club, the Borough Museum, Gratitude, MenCap, the NSPCC, her time as a school governor, her work with her church, and much more besides. But for me, as leader of Hertsmere's main opposition group, there was another memorable dimension of Cynthia's legacy. That's apart from her endearing and unique giggles in otherwise dull meetings. That legacy for me will be the way in which she represented the human face of politics, always putting people first. I remember that Cynthia had a particular passion for election hustings. Like myself, she was a serial attendee at various general election hustings meetings around the borough. Most recently, we had quite a few of them in 2015, 2017, and again last year. It won't surprise many people that hustings can become pretty tribal affairs, with people sitting in clusters according to their political party and tensions running high. But I remember how on many of these occasions, Cynthia was one of the few people to break ranks and come over to the other side for a friendly chat, some good-natured banter, and of course, from time to time, the odd piece of salacious political gossip. I always valued those interactions. Whether or not it was Cynthia's intention, I always felt that it made those occasions more bearable and just a little less toxic. She was particularly supportive to me on one occasion when some years ago I had to stand in for our own parliamentary candidate in Hertsmere at hustings meeting at short notice. But these were not one-off moments of kindness, nor were they restricted to those occasions. They are what Cynthia Barker was all about. But there was so much more to Cynthia than just that. She'd been involved in civic life in Hertsmere in one way or another for many of the 30 years that she spent living here. And for much of that time, to do so as a Filipino woman in the UK was not an easy or straightforward thing at all. I'm not sure just how many of us really appreciated that. When she said to some people that her election as Mayor of Hertsmere and as a councillor was the highlight of her life, again, I'm not sure that we all appreciated the deeper significance of that comment and the real nature of all of the challenges she'd had to overcome to work up to that point, to become the first proud Filipino mayor in the UK. For Cynthia, leadership was not just about filling a role or winning an election. She took it seriously, both practically and academically. While she was an industrial engineer by trade with a degree from Adamson University in Manila, she also took the time and effort to obtain a further degree in leadership and development from our own University of Hertfordshire. That's how seriously she took the role of leadership. Cynthia served, as we just heard, in local government at both town and borough level, in Boreham Wood and in Potters Bar, representing 3 different wards at various times. She was a model of minority integration, but never assimilation. She took pride in and celebrated her cultural heritage. She was a trustee of the Filipino Women's Association in the UK, and in 2017, she quite deservedly won the Global Filipino Women's Network Award precisely for that work. Cynthia was rightly recognised with one of the British Community Honours Awards recently in recognition of her outstanding voluntary contributions to British society, promoting integration, building social cohesion through community work and through volunteering. It was a real pleasure to have known and worked with Cynthia. Not a pleasure, a privilege. She was a trailblazer and a role model for both women and minority communities. She was always kind and supportive to me personally, especially when I was first elected as a councillor, despite our being on opposite sides of the political divide. I've warm memories of many conversations with her when she stopped me to say hello whilst I was walking past on Shenley Road and she was sitting at her favourite table outside Cafe Nero. Cynthia brought grace and dignity to the office of Mayor of this borough, but she was always approachable and down to earth, particularly when engaging with children and when engaging with young people. One of the Philippine newspapers reported on a charity film screening that Cynthia recently organised a few months ago up the road in Boreham Wood's Real Cinema. The film that was screened, her personal choice, I understand, was A Star is Born with Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. Typically, the event was one to benefit one of her favourite good causes, the local elderly community, in aid of Silver Week. That Filipino paper reported Cynthia as having said at the time, "It's an awesome film that teaches a lesson about love and redemption." Well, I think Cynthia was Hertsmere's own star, who taught us exactly that lesson herself. She'll be fondly remembered, not just as the first citizen of this borough, but also as a councillor, as an activist, as a community champion, as a mother, as a grandmother, as the person who broke the tension in difficult meetings, and of course, for that infectious laugh and for her beautiful smile. May her memory continue to be an inspiration to us all.
Can I